All right, here we go. Perfect. Okay. Coordinate geometry. So that's covered often on the PSAT. And you guys probably saw some in Algebra 1, maybe some in Geometry, and even Algebra 2. So we got 3 levels here. Easy, medium, hard. We'll start with number 4. How would you guys go about number 4? Find the slope. Very good. So if I try to find the slope, the slope will be 8 minus 0, or 12 minus 0. 12 minus 0, which is 8 twelfths. What was 8 twelfths reduced to? 2 or 3. Good. So which other point will get us that? C. So basically what you want to do is you want to find, and I forgot how to spell, slope just has an E at the end. Silent. Alright. So find another point with same slope with 0, 0. Or with 12, 8. But if you do find a slope with 3, 2, and 0, 0, it also gets you 2/3. So they'll be collinear. So any questions why it's C? Just find the slope and then pick the other point that will present you with the same slope. Yeah, Brian?
For that one, I did math and
That works.
0, 0, and over 2 and up 2, which would be 3.
Yep. Or actually it goes up 2 over 3. It goes up 2 over 3. Yeah. That works. Okay. Now we can look at number, I think both these are medium. I don't think any of these are really hard. Let's look at number 12. What's the main concept here, or main thing we need to look at? So what does that mean with the perpendicular slopes? So we want, perpendicular, negative, reciprocal slopes. So let's find the slope for line L, because we're already given the coordinates. What's the slope for line L going to be? Half, right? So slope for line Q has to be what then? -2. Then what you want to do is use the slope formula. Remember the slope formula is this, right? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Some people tend to forget that, but it makes sense because you want change of y over change of x. Change of y over change of x, that's again what we want. So how would I set this up when I plug in the coordinates for the points on line Q? Go ahead, Marie. Good, 1 minus t over 2. And just make sure you go in the same order. If you're like, so Marie went from first point to second point for the y coordinates. Do the same thing for the x coordinates. So set equal to -2. Cross multiply. -t equals -5. T equals 5. And that's a grid in, so you would obviously grid in 5. By the way, if you got a negative answer, what does that mean? Yeah, because you can't. There's no bubble for negatives on the grid ins. So it means you made a careless error. It doesn't mean you don't understand the problem. You probably understand it. Just you probably made a careless error. So just make sure you're conscious of that. Okay. 35. So you want perpendicular, and you want to bisect. What does bisect mean? Cut in half, right? So we want that. What do you think that point is right there? So what other point will fall on that line? I think that's pretty obvious. And the whole perpendicular thing, because the slope of AB was -1. So the slope of our new line would be +1. And so 0, 0, 1, 1, 3, 3, those all have slopes of 1. So that's how the perpendicular part kind of plays a role as well, because otherwise then it could have been so many answers. Okay, so that's coordinate geometry. Any questions about that? All right. Probability and counting. This one kind of freaks out some students because you probably see a probability for a very short period of time in Algebra 2. And I don't know, it's usually at the end of the year and sometimes it's kind of rushed. So let's go over some, probably these two, then we can do some practice from the homework packet. Does anyone have an idea for number 14? Does anyone have an idea how to go about number 14? Have you guys seen this before? What's that? Venn diagram. Venn diagram could help. So say, they usually like to draw a box around as well, because there could be some people who don't have a dog or a cat. But of course, they say everyone does have a dog, cat, or both. So I made the left circle dogs, the right circle cats. There's 416 people total. 360 dog owners, 200 cat owners. Some people could just see what to do. Does anyone know what the answer is? Yeah, it's 136. How did you go about it? Mm-hmm. Which, that'll be in the middle, right? Okay. Yeah, so let me kind of explain Elisa's technique to you guys, then I'll show you another way of doing it, and you guys can choose which way you like. So this right here is going to be Mr. E's way. It'll be Elisa's way. All right. So here's what I'll do. The best way to think about it is that to be D or C, it's going to equal D plus C minus D and C. Because if you think about it, you don't want to double count the middle. Because these overlap, they're not mutually exclusive. So that means that if you count whatever's in D and whatever's in C, but they both share this, right? So D plus C is going to be everything you see here, but you guys subtract D and C so it's not double counted. So D is 316. You know, whether it's just dogs or cats. C is 280. Of course, everything all together is 416. Here. There we go. We'll call that X. So you work all out, that's 536 minus X equals 416. Negative 180 equals negative X. 596 is right. 50. So the middle's 180. So if the middle's 180, then of course we know this has to be 136, and this has to be 100. And does all that add up to 416? It will. And so we go C. So that's one way of doing it. The other way, and by the way, what I just wrote up here is always true for these situations. So you can use that. If you want to be one or the other, it's going to be in one of them plus to be in the other one minus the overlap. I like to do this sometimes. Assign variables. X is dogs only, Z is cats only, Y is both dogs and cats. And of course, what all three have to add up to. How many people total? 416, right? X plus Y is 316. Y plus Z is 280. Of course, I want X, so I can just substitute for Y plus Z. That will be 280. So you get 136. I substitute for y and for y plus z. Yeah, so I did. Just so you understand how it works. I mean, you some people just can't see how all that works. I mean, so basically what you're seeing is that you're taking the cat owners away from the total, which is, yeah, some people just can't see that. I don't know. That's good you see it. But. So let's see for that one. This is one of the harder Venn diagram problems. Some are actually easier, where you can actually just, they'll tell you like how many are in both. Like if they give you the overlap, you can plug it in and you can figure out the rest from that. I think there might be some in here, this new packet that has some Venn diagram problems. Okay, then 16. For those who have it for Algebra 2 Honors 2 years ago, do you guys remember this problem? Varun, Raheem, Isabel, Shannon. Do you remember this problem? I had it on a test. Ricky, yeah, I think that. So, yeah, you guys, okay, so, yeah. Right, we could do it that way. Let's first talk about this NPR. This is a permutation. N is the total number of items. R is the number of items to select / arrange. Sorry for my messy handwriting. The total number. And R is going to be the number of items to select / arrange. But what makes this one especially tough is that you can't have this like shaded box at either end. So they kind of throw this curveball at you. But I think Isabel had the right thing. So let's make 5 slots. Can the shaded box be in the first slot? No. So let's put it in the second slot. Now, you have 4 more slots open, right? And you have 4 cards left. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to use all 4 of those cards, right? So there's 4 cards left, and you want to arrange all 4 of them. You're not just going to pick 2 and arrange them. You're going to pick all 4 of them. So for this situation, you do 4p4. And this can be done in the calculator. The way you get there is you go to Math, PRB. I think it's option 2 or option 3. So you go to Math, PRB, so 4, and PR4, you get 24. Math, then PRB, then option 2. So there'll be 24 options. However, does that shade card have to be in the second spot? Where else could it be? It could be in the third or fourth spot. So the answer is 72.